Hey Team YouTube, I'm going to start a project here. I bought a kit of parts from Milzy Motorsports. I'm going to convert a 2005 Buick Rendezvous with a 3400 engine in it to a 3500 engine. Of course, I've already secured my 3500 engine from the scrapyard. And let's talk about the parts that come in the kit. The heart of the swap kit is the reluctor wheel that, because the 3500 engine, the LX9, uses a, I believe it's a 56X reluctor wheel inside the block. You can't use that with the existing computer for the 3400 LA1 engine. So they offer an external crank trigger that is mounted on the dampener, on the crank pulley. So to go along with that, there is also a bracket that you mount the crank trigger sensor here in the mount, and this goes on the side of the engine block in a couple of holes. This top hole, if you've worked on the minivans or on the Rendezvous and Aztec, this hole here on the block is also the one that there's a little bracket for the power steering lines that run down the side of the timing cover. But I'm sure I can repurpose that or figure out how to make it all work. It does come with these washers. I believe they are used as standoffs or spacers. And if you look in the Milzy directions, they do mention these, and they do say to keep them between the bracket and the engine. The next item is the differential bracket, and as you can see, this is powder coat. It looks very nice, and I'm really overall very pleased with the materials, workmanship, whatever you want to call it, that Milzy Motorsports has used. One of their pieces of advice is to buy a tap set or use a tap to run the holes for the differential bracket on the backside of the engine. I just checked, and because I have van SUV engines, those holes are already tapped. It's because I pulled my 3500 from a 2006 Chevy Uplander, and it's going into the Rendezvous. It's the same platform. I'm sure a lot of that advice in the Milzy Motorsports guide is devoted to people with this 3500 engine that they want to put into a car chassis. So things are just a little bit different. But so far, it looks like the tap kit is unneeded, at least for the differential bracket. The next item in the kit is the throttle body spacer here. This allows you to adapt the 3500 intake with a 3400 throttle body. As you can see, the throttle body is quite a bit smaller in diameter. Milzy has an option. Again, this is not a promotion for them. I'm not getting paid. I'm just saying what I was able to look at. They have some larger throttle bodies. They'll go with this adapter plate. The only thing you need to modify is for the IAC valve. Let me go ahead and just open this up here in a second. The only thing I have to do to the 3400 throttle body to use the adapter plate successfully is, here's the IAC motor. What Milzy recommends is to cut this bypass here, just cut this feature here down about 1/4 of an inch so you get that airflow through the IAC valve, IAC motor, whatever you want to call it, when you're, of course, idling or whatnot. So the flat front on this bracket will bolt up to the billet throttle bodies and other things that they offer. So they kind of discourage you from using the 3400, but they have a point. This will only flow so much, and it will hamper the performance of the rest of the system. Okay, the next thing is a couple of these little nifty coil pack bracket adapters or spacers, whatever you want to call them. So that's pretty self-explanatory. It's just because the posts that hold on the coil bracket are at a little bit different place on the 3500, and if you want to use your stock 3400 bracket, you need these. The 3500 motor differs from the 3400 in terms of the front Dogbone bracket too. mailing this part in. I believe this was mine. They modify it, probably just on a lathe or on a mill or something like that, and they shave off these surfaces. I can tell pretty much for sure. I don't think they touch that particular surface. The idea is that this will now bolt right onto the 3500 motor. This comes from the 3400, in case I wasn't clear. Other difference, the coolant temperature sensor on the 3400 is on the front. You know, if you look down right in front of the front spark plug wires, kind of to the right, you'll see it. On the 3500, it's in the back, so they offer a coolant temperature sensor extension. One thing they mispicked on my order, and they're sending a replacement, is they also have a map sensor extension for the manifold absolute pressure sensor. It just allows it to extend so you can use that 3400 harness that goes under the fuel injector rail. Just as an aside, this sensor came off the car. I was just showing it, you know, as to demonstrate this bracket. That's not included. The last piece that I can think of is an oil sensor, essentially a jumper or terminal. It's a connector that has a one-wire jumper so that it makes it so that the low oil level sensor that's in the bottom of the oil pan is bypassed or no longer used if you have an old wiring harness. In the post, I think 2003, 04, 05, pretty much all the minivans and the Aztec and Rendezvous, you don't have to worry about that anyhow. Milzy tailored this to my car's application. If you had something like a Grand Am with the 3400 in it, you would get a slightly different kit. Out the door, I had to pay to ship this. I just shipped it USPS. But out the door, everything that I got out of pocket, shipping, tax, and everything, round numbers, was about $350 for the kit. Of course, the meat of the kit is obviously it's this part, and this part. Those are going to be, oh yeah, and that. Those are going to be the most expensive items. For what I'm seeing here for custom automotive aftermarket, this seems to be like a pretty good deal as far as the horsepower gains that you can get with a motor swap. So let's go ahead and start talking about bolting all of this on. This is going to be, I think, a long set of videos, or one big video. I'm probably going to break it up though, and we'll see where it goes.